Hello, friends, and welcome into Miami Dolphins Today. I am your host, Tom Downey, here to discuss some what's going on with the Miami Dolphins. We'll begin with Xavien Howard. Now, Howard has not been at the Dolphins offseason program. It's all been voluntary so far, although mandatory minicamp is just around the corner. Now, the Miami Herald reports this, that Howard wants a raise, but so far, the Dolphins have been non-committal about doing that. And I do think that makes some sense due in large part to this fact. Xavien Howard has 4 years left on his contract that at the time was a very high-paying one. Yes, Xavien Howard is no longer the highest-paid corner on his own team, but a 5-year, $75+ million extension is still like 6th among the NFL based on new money. So it's not like he's wildly underpaid. Of course, Xavien Howard is coming off an unreal season. Allowed barely 51.5% in terms of the completion percentage when targeted. Did allow 719 yards, but 4 touchdowns compared to a blistering 10 interceptions and 20 pass breakups. Xavien Howard arguably was the number 1 corner in the entire NFL. He played incredible. So I get why he's looking for a new deal. But he also played great in 2018, last time we saw him out there because he missed a lot of time back in 2019. Completion percentage, also really good. Yards were solid, not quite as insane in the interceptions and pass breakups. Maybe the presence of Byron Jones helped in that perspective, but Xavien Howard is one of the best corners in the NFL. So I get why he's searching for a new deal. The cornerback market, as it always does, tends to explode. And the market always goes up. Jalen Ramsey right now is making obscene money at $21 million per year. Marlon Humphrey, $19.5 million. Trey Wright, $17.25 million. So I guess part of this depends on just how much money Xavien Howard wants to get on a new deal. Is he searching for Jalen Ramsey-esque money? Or is he searching for something a little bit more reasonable? Is he looking to make like $16.65 million? Top 5 money, beat out Byron Jones, but still honor the 4 years left he's got on his contract. So what do you guys think? Is it time to give Xavien Howard a new deal, or do you want him to just play football and deal with what he's making right now? Agree to the contract he signed. Get your votes in. Type in Y for yes or type in N for no. If you want to give Howard a new deal, I get it. But if you say no and you are committed to not giving Howard a new contract or saying, hey, we'll do it next year or 2 years or whatever, if you're trying to play hardball, I think you owe it to yourself as an organization to at least explore and or consider a trade. I'm not saying trade Howard right now. Frankly, I would not trade him. But as a front office, as a group of decision makers, you have to look at all the different outcomes there. So I don't want to trade Xavien Howard. But if you're going to play hardball and say, you know what, you signed a contract, you got 4 years left on your deal, we're not doing a new deal, and Howard's response is, okay, I'm not going to show up, at that point, you need to consider a trade. Because there's 2 things here. 1, Howard's got great trade value. And 2, the Dolphins have some pretty good corners. Obviously, beyond Howard, there's Byron Jones. There's Nick Needham. Noah Igbinoghene, who was not great last year but still has a lot of promise and potential. They added Jason McCourty to play a veteran role there in the end. So if you're Miami, you don't have to panic and make a decision right now. But you do want to explore all your options. In the end, I bet he plays this year because he's going to pass on a lot of money if he does not. If you guys want even more Dolphins videos, you guys got 2 on Sunday. You're welcome. Hit that big red button and subscribe. The link is right there at the bottom of your screen if you happen to need it. It's youtube.com/Dolphins News. Subscribe right now. That way you don't miss out on anything going on around the Miami Dolphins. Let's talk Emmanuel Ogbah's contract now because, well, he's also looking to get the bag. Now, Ogbah has previously skipped voluntary OTAs. That they are voluntary, not the end of the world, is worth mentioning. However, the latest report is that he is expected to report in time for mandatory minicamp coming up on Tuesday. Now, the Miami Herald adds that Ogbah does want a new deal, and that certainly makes sense. He's in the final year of a 2-year, $15 million deal he signed last offseason, and is coming off, by a pretty good margin, his best season ever. 6 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. The guy we saw from Miami in 2020 took a step forward in terms of opportunity and maximizing that opportunity. Now, this is entering year 6. His previous 5 years, he flashed as a rookie. 5.5 sacks, a pressure rate just below 10. Pretty solid. But the next 2 years, Ogbah had less success when he was out there, and frankly, less playing time. The sacks dip, the pressure rates dip. In a limited sample size in Kansas City, he showed the inklings, the promise of a breakout year to come. 5.5 sacks, his best pressure rate ever. Then in Miami, he explodes. Now, the pressure rate jumped up a little bit, so did the opportunity, the pure volume of pass rushes, and the sacks went up as a result. So now Miami has to figure out, okay, how much are we paying Ogbah, given his age and that he hasn't really had a double-digit sack season? He ain't going to get the top-end money, all right? The Joey Bosa, Myles Garrett contracts, not going to happen. Even the Frank Clark one, probably not. But as the salary cap is set to explode, I think this next grouping of edge rushers actually starts to fit for what Ogbah could potentially command. I know you're thinking, Tom, are you serious? You're trying to pay $17 million for a guy who's never put up double-digit sacks? My counter, Emmanuel Ogbah coming off his 9-sack season, the best Trey Flowers ever put up was 7.5. That was his career-high sack total. Now, he was pretty consistent outside of last year for Detroit when he was banged up. He's been about a 7-sack guy. He got $18 million. So if Ogbah ends up testing the open market, I think the cost could be fairly expensive. I would not want to pay him $18 million. I'd argue, hey, Shaq Barrett's better, and you got $17 million, blah, blah, blah. That makes things dicey for Miami and for Emmanuel Ogbah. And I think after seeing Jerome Baker just get the bag, maybe Ogbah, eventually Howard too, are next up. So get your votes in for me. What is the most that you would feel comfortable paying Emmanuel Ogbah per season? Is it 15 million, 16, 17, 18? Do you not care? Do you want to break the bank open? Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. Now, the other part of this is if the Dolphins end up having to play hardball with Ogbah, maybe more next offseason, edge rusher becomes another screaming need. Of course, they moved on from Shaq Lawson. They drafted Jalen Phillips in round 1. The depth there, Andrew Van Ginkel had great sack numbers, but do we really trust him? Vince Beagle's a decent enough backup. I don't see high-end edge rushers in Miami outside of Phillips and Ogbah. So I do want to pay him. It's going to come down to just how much he's looking to get, though, from Miami, or if he wants to wait for next offseason as the salary cap continues to explode.